Hi folks, this is Jobin. It's a beautiful day out today. Finally get to shoot my videos outside again instead of crammed up against the window trying to get enough light. So it's really nice. What I got for you here today is a look at two knives I purchased recently. These are very traditional designs from A.G. Russell. They both have some interesting modern twists to them. These are available only through the A.G. Russell catalog and website. You can get them with yellow Delrin handles, Cocobolo, probably not pronouncing that right, that really hard red wood, and these handles, which are a brown micarta. First, let's take a look at this. This is the medium Gunstock Lockback. Has these large stainless steel bolsters here, and a fairly large 3.5 inch approximately clip point blade. Obviously a lanyard hole. They both come with these little leather thongs. Kind of a neat little design. The lock is back here. Opens and shuts very easily. Interestingly, this has a coil spring in it. I'm not sure if I can get the angles right, but back in here, approximately covering like that, inside this back bolster, I guess you'd call it, is a coil spring which is what actuates the lock. It's a slightly unusual design, but A.G. Russell said they tested it to thousands of openings and closings. This knife opens very smoothly, and it snaps open with a really authoritative sound there. It's very nice. There is no side-to-side play I can detect. Tiny bit of vertical play, but it's a lockback that kind of comes with the territory. Very hard to get a lockback with none at all. The fit and finish on both these knives is absolutely superb. The joins where two pieces of metal or other material meet, you cannot feel most of the joins with your finger. If you run your fingernail across them, you can detect them a tiny bit, but it is smooth. Just really excellent. Even the inside of the knife, the interior surfaces are polished almost to a mirror level. Just beautiful. Beautiful workmanship. These are made in China, which is amazing. The blades are 8 CR13 MOV steel, which is an okay steel. What I really, one of the features I really like about this Gunstock one is it has a rather thick blade. You know, you can see it here. Let's get a comparison up here. It's about as thick as at the spine as the Azula. Can't remember exactly what the exact measurement is, but for me what that means is if you're doing cuts where you're using this kind of grip, there's a kind of wide pad here that your thumb can rest on. I don't like on some blades where it's narrow here, but they expect you to be pushing with your thumb down like that. It's just uncomfortable for me. So I appreciate that it has this wide area here, and then this swedge goes to just sort of thins things out to give it very nice slicing characteristics. I think the blade looks great. Classic, very nice looking clip point design, very slight recurve, and I don't think I mentioned it yet, this knife is a one-hand opener. These things here go way beyond a nail nick, though obviously it'll work for that. They're really scooped out nicely, and you can just put the pad of your thumb in there and open it on up. So I think this is a really excellent design, Anyone who's into traditionals will probably absolutely go crazy over this, and even somebody who carries mostly modern folders, who's used to the one-hand opening and the locking and stuff like that, you could transition into this really easily if you just want something to sort of class up your EDC occasionally. Uh-oh, my camera just shut off. No, it didn't. Sorry about that. I swear I heard it go dead. Here's the Sowbelly Trapper. This is a hefty knife. Speaking of hefty, before I move off the Gunstock Lockback, let's get the weight here. Both of these are big, serious blades. Gunstock Lockback is 4.69 ounces on my scale, or 133 grams. So, this is a moderately hefty knife. Not super heavy, but no lightweight. But considering the thick blade, I think it's worthwhile. You know, let's do a quick sort of size comparison. Here's a Cara 2. Another knife I carry very frequently. Okay. Now, properly onto the Sowbelly. Let's get the weight on that real quick. Well, we got the scale here. 5.64 ounces. So, pretty hefty knife. If you don't like carrying heavy knives, this probably isn't the one for you. It's pretty large, as you see. Both of these knives are, in fact. Here's a standard Swiss Army knife in comparison. Very definitely hefty knives. You'll know you have these in your pocket. This one is the thing that originally attracted me to this line, and that is because, just cut right to the good stuff, it has this enormous, wide, 3.5-inch long Wharncliffe blade. Just gorgeous. I knew I had to have this knife as soon as I saw it. It's made out of, the blades on this one are made out of slightly thinner stock than on the Gunstock Lockback, but that's okay. I wouldn't want them to be made out of the same thickness as stock. This is already a pretty large knife. That would have made it just ridiculous. The other blade on this is a clip point, which is basically identical to the Gunstock Lockback, aside from the thickness. Both of these are very practical blade shapes. I don't personally often go for knives with more than one blade. It can seem almost kind of weird, maybe if I were trying to explain this to a non-knife person, since I generally carry 2 knives, but for me it's an ergonomics thing. I like knowing that in a pinch I've got myself the screwdrivers and the awls and the scissors and the whatever on a multi-tool or a Swiss Army knife. But if I'm doing actual cutting tasks, most of the time I want a dedicated folder or a small fixed blade. Just from a pure ergonomics standpoint, if you're using it for more than a few seconds, you're going to feel it in your hands. And to a certain extent, this knife is really well designed, but it does have some of the basic pitfalls of a multi-bladed knife, where it's not quite as comfortable as it could be, because when you have one blade out, the other one's there, kind of sticking out of the handle. And the way the handle's swooped, that's not as much of a problem as it could be. Again, this is a very well designed knife, but if you're like me, that is a point I don't like so much. Just a minor issue, where if you really wanted to grip down on this, you do kind of have the spine of the other blade digging into your hand a little bit. Kind of interesting to see how they line up like that. See, this is a very S-curved blade. I think A.G. Russell says it looks like a very pregnant sow. And it does conform nicely to your hand, because if you can imagine your 2 fingers here, that's going to be your primary gripping area. You've got your thumb back like this, and then see how it angles it into your hand for like that, or like that. It's very good. To a certain extent, the same with the Gunstock Lockback, which gets its name because these do tend to look a little bit like a rifle stock. If you look at them right, really just perfect there. Kind of in a way, giving you the same kind of effect you get with a design like the Azula, which has a little bit of a humpback spine, which is something I really like in knives. Where it's not straight, it's, if you hold the knife sideways like this, the middle's the highest point, the blade tip is dropped, and the back and the butt of the handle is a little bit dropped too. I think that makes really good ergonomics. Works with both forward and reverse grips. Once again, the fit and finish on this knife is just outstanding. If I turn it a little bit, you can probably see it gleaming in there in the sunlight. Even the inside surfaces are polished. It's just really excellent. One thing that I might like to see a little bit different on this knife is it would be nice if there was a little more closing force required for the blades. Yeah, obviously this is a slip joint. You know, slip joints are designed to be closed like this, but another couple ounces would have made me slightly happier. Just as a sort of general comfort and safety thing. Very slight issue when using these kinds of traditional knives where there isn't much of a guard or a choil is if you're not careful, you can have your finger slide up here, and at this point I've got this sharp edge of this razor sharp Wharncliffe blade kind of poking into my finger a little bit. Just something to be aware of. Sometimes when closing, I haven't really cut myself, but sloppy closing here, maybe snag a little bit on your finger as it goes past. Just something to be aware of. Getting back to the Gunstock Lockback again, speaking of ergonomics, it does actually have a slight little swoop here, so it'll catch your fingers better. It's very nice. I think both of these knives make excellent collector's pieces and really good EDC choices. They are strongly built, they are beautifully finished, and the prices really aren't bad for what you're getting. You know, some might wish for a better blade steel. This won't hold an edge as long as some of the premium steels, but it does sharpen up nicely and easily, and the overall build quality of these knives is just outstanding. I cannot begin to say how impressed I am by both of these. They're beautiful knives. I love them a lot. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You have a good day now.